thing. Let's bring in Tennessee Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. He's a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congressman, your reaction to all of this back and forth and really this battle that's erupting with Governor Abbott and the Biden administration?
Well, I applaud Governor Abbott and the 24 governors who are supporting him in this endeavor. Let's face it, in my prior role, I was the ranking member, the highest Republican on Homeland Security appropriations, worked with President Trump to secure the border, and when he was president, from the inception, President Biden and this administration and all of his minions have worked to basically incentivize illegal immigration, everything from stay in Mexico, you name it, and they have caused a crisis that is probably the worst crisis of their administration. They've had several. This is the worst. So really, governors, citizens, everyone is standing up and saying to Joe Biden, enough is enough. Under President Trump, the border was secure. Our country was safe. Over 8 million illegals have come into this country. It's dangerous. It's wrong. It's got to be stopped. So I applaud Governor Abbott. It's courageous. It's historic. And he's right.
But what do you make of the idea of all of these states sending the National Guard troops down there? Governor Kristi Noem has already said, yeah, I'll do it. I mean, but that would just be, you know, I'm just wondering how that would play out and what the optics of that would be. It'd be very controversial, obviously, if it happens.
The whole issue is controversial, and this is where I think President Biden failed from the inception when he incentivized illegal immigration, when he took steps, over 60 steps, this administration, to thwart efforts to curtail the illegal immigration and to secure the border. Now he says he wants to secure it. That's only because radical left-wing mayors have finally, in the North, have basically realized that their sanctuary cities are sinking them financially. Yeah. So will it be controversial? Yes, but we've got to do something. The country needs to stand up. Governor Abbott has really taken a position, again, of courage and to stand up where this administration is going to continue to do nothing and try to placate their radical left-wing allies. Their policies have failed. They're going to continue to fail. And what's worse, our country is now no longer secure. This is a national security crisis. It's a fentanyl crisis. It's a financial crisis. It's a horrific crisis. So kudos to Governor Abbott and the other governors who are going to stand up. Yeah. America no longer wants illegal immigration.
Well, because every state and every town has become a border state and a border town. When you have immigration as the #1 issue in Iowa after the caucuses and in New Hampshire, that tells you that immigration is something that not only does Republican voters care about it, but it's something that the Biden administration has got to pay attention to in an election year. And not just President Biden, but I'm talking down ballot as well. Let me ask you about this. Utah Senator Mitt Romney is claiming that President Trump, the former president, is trying to kill the Senate border bill so he can, quote, blame President Biden. And so Trump responded on Truth Social saying Romney knows nothing about him or his views, explaining that unless Republicans can get a perfect border deal, they're better off not making one. Senate Minority Leader McConnell reportedly is now open to keeping a border policy deal separate from that additional Ukraine aid. And earlier this week, McConnell did tell senators that they are in, quote, a quandary because of the former president. The party's likely, nominee is going to oppose this deal. So what do you make of all this back and forth? And what does that mean for you and obviously for the Senate?
Well, President Trump, Cheryl, I think you are right, will be our party's nominee and will beat Joe Biden. Having said that, I think the Senate, unlike the House, has seen a banter back and forth. They will not get this border deal done. If they do, it's dead on arrival in the House. House conservatives such as myself will never stand up for a weak border deal because the American people won't stand up for a weak border deal. You've just seen it. Governors, citizens from all over this country, even in northern liberal sanctuary cities, by the way, which can never happen in the great state of Tennessee. We've outlawed them. But these cities have realized that financially, in terms of crime, in terms of fentanyl, this just cannot be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. The Biden administration and some in the Senate are trying to put a Band-Aid on a stab wound. The stab wound is wide open. We need to secure the border. We need to stand up as Americans and say enough is enough. And
Right.
President Trump is right.
Well,
In all
but I
due
wanted to
respect,
ask you, that's why I wanted to ask you about the Senate side of this, because remember, you do still have a democratically controlled Senate, and you still have a Democratic president that's in office right now. But real quick before you run, I want to ask you about Nikki Haley, because she has raised at least $1 million since her giving her post-primary speech in New Hampshire, $1 million. Former President Trump had warned potential Haley donors, don't support her, you're going to pay, MAGA's going to come after you, etc. What are your thoughts, real quick, before you go on the state of the Republican primary race right now?
Sure. Let me be candid, Cheryl. I am a Trump delegate, Trump supporter, Trump endorser, so I'm 100% Trump.
She raised $1 million, though. She raised $1 million.
That's nothing. The hearts and mind and votes of the Republican primary will be with Donald Trump overwhelmingly. South Carolina and beyond. We saw Iowa. We saw New Hampshire. Look, I respect the right of anyone to run, but there's a time and a place to realize it's over. Donald Trump is going to be our nominee. He is going to lead this party back. He was right on the border. He was right on the economy. He's been right about a lot of different things. On energy policy. The heart and soul of the Republican Party is with Donald Trump right now. Again, anyone can run. A lot of folks did run. Some who have lost have done the right thing. They've basically stood up now and endorsed President Trump. But he will be our nominee sooner than later. The key, the focus, is to beat Joe Biden. We've got to change the direction of this country.
Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. Congressman, thank you. A lot covered with you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right.